And every time we see the drivers being stopped by a police, they give some money, but sometimes we fear reporting because how will watu wanakuambia we are in a hurry, wacha apeane twende, let them give and we proceed with the journey. So I think that is very common scenario that we face every day, but we have aided that because we are not confident enough to speak out. For normal Kenyans like me who don't drive. Yes.
Haya, any other normal Kenyan? Haya, tuingie hapa.
One time we had to sort of, what can I say, tolerate our corruption incidents because we were trying to save a life. This is 2019 and we could not access ICU beds in Kenya. But upon calling a direct contact because we knew a doctor, they were able to link us to an ICU bed because we knew them. We did not have to contribute anything. But even so, a relative had gone earlier to check if there were beds and they were told no. And I was rushed to transfer my patient from the hospital that we were at to this hospital because this bed would then go.
Wow. I saw her agreeing with you. What are your thoughts in regards to that?
Good morning, everyone. I think that's the case in for many Kenyans. Sometimes when you're pushed to the corner and you need something very, very urgent, and you're thinking of the consequences. For this case, they were about to lose a relative, and this is something that nobody would stand. You'd be forced to participate in corruption. It happens every time.
All right. Big round of applause for them. They've shared. There's another comment there. Yeah, go ahead. Thank you.
Morning, comrades. My name is John Paul from Mombasa. And this goes back to the counties in terms of corruption and if you're able to report. If there's any MCA in the house, we don't mean to demean you, but it happens whereby in financial year 2019-2020, one of the MCAs in Mombasa, what he did was, he was part of the agriculture committee. They bought one-day-old chicks at 100 shillings from the farmers. But the final report, look at the budgetary reports, indicated that they bought at 1,400. So the farmers were wondering, how did this happen? So we had to expose. So it means you have to have information, it should be evidence-based, and then you have to engage without any fear. So kama unaogopa, toka nje uende. Thank you very much.
Okay. Makofi yao lakini. You know, we're here. Okay, but there's another comment there. Yeah, Stoke, we need you here so that we can build up the momentum. Go ahead.
Viva TI Viva.
Viva.
Viva RCK Viva. I think it was 1.5 years back, IRCK did an ESA intelligence, that is intelligence reporting in the health sector and the education sector. And what we found was a mass. In the hospitals, in the health sector, the medicine does not come to the hospital. It goes to somebody's pharmacy. So when the doctor writes a prescription, he tells you clearly, you should go to that pharmacy and buy the medicine which is given free by the government to our people in Kenya. What we discovered is that we have normalized corruption as a way of living. So if you don't do it, you are looked at, where are you coming from? This is normal. It is normal. When you question, why are you questioning? This is normal. We have reached that stage. I really liked what the Danish embassy person said, because I'm being honest, we had given up. We really need total determination. We really need that sense of being a true Kenyan and stop this thing. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much indeed. When Joseph Kimani told us we must absolutely hate corruption. Do you know what? The amazing thing is we can always learn from other jurisdictions. What have they done in the fight against corruption? Ladies and gentlemen, In the next couple of minutes, a big round of applause to Deputy Mission Director, USAID, Ms. Sheila Rockit. Makofi yake tafadhali.
Sheila Masinde, Executive Director of Transparency International, religious leaders, members of the diplomatic corps, donors, journalists, members of the media, all generations of the youth at heart, from the baby boomers to Gen X, other Sheila corruption fighters in the room, Mtumishi, all protocols observed. Good morning. A corruption-free society is a great vision indeed. Viva TI Kenya, viva!
Viva!
It is wonderful to be with you here today, and a special thanks to Transparency International Kenya for organizing this summit, and to all of you who have taken time out of your lives to be here today. Today's summit is one of several activities that TI Kenya has organized to commemorate African Anti-Corruption Day in Kenya. At a time when the young people are organizing to demand action against corruption, it is vital to come together to discuss the efforts that can highlight the role of whistleblowing in Kenya, to increase awareness on the adverse effects of corruption and the need for reforms, and to celebrate the courageous actions of the people who have fought against corruption. The theme of this year's commemoration, effective whistleblower protection, is essential to progress in Kenya, across Africa, and globally. The United States has consistently supported the strengthening of governance, institution, and processes. This has included helping to improve compliance with Kenya's public financial management laws and supporting reforms to reduce fraud, waste, and abuse at the national and county levels. Corruption and mismanagement of public resources are among the key concerns raised by young Kenyans these past few weeks. Thus, an increased commitment to strengthening Kenya's fight against corruption is needed. Comprehensive and dedicated whistleblowing protection legislation is an important building block for institutionalizing governance reforms. It is important that whistleblower policies are independently monitored. This is a recurring theme of many public audit reports and strategic plans of state agencies. Lack of whistleblower protection legislation provides a loophole for unscrupulous actors who would pressure subordinates to turn a blind eye or to cover up corrupt acts. The purpose of legislation is to ensure that whistleblowers don't face retaliation, harassment, intimidation, or dismissal from employment, as we heard in the example earlier today. People should always feel empowered to shine a light on corrupt acts without fear of retaliation. In the United States, whistleblower protections have played an important role in rooting out unethical behavior. It has become part and parcel to the way we operate. And each year, I take a mandatory whistleblower protection training as a requirement of my job as a civil servant. Enshrining whistleblower protections in law is also critical to attracting foreign investment. Private capital is drawn to countries where checks and balances are in place to prevent corruption. When the policy environment promotes transparency and accountability, donors like USAID can more easily give resources directly to Kenyan organizations, one of our top priorities as we champion locally led development. We commend the ongoing efforts by parliamentarians and civil society to develop whistleblower protection mechanisms, and we want to see that final legislation reflects the input from stakeholders here in this room and elsewhere. And of course, once the legislation is passed, the law needs to be successfully implemented. During Kenya's state visit to the United States in May, President Ruto said, and I quote, "Recognizing that accountability and integrity are essential for enhancing democratic governance, The fight against corruption is a fundamental imperative. That same day, the United States government announced additional funding to support anti-corruption efforts, including the whistleblower protection law. This work will be implemented by Transparency International in partnership with the Association of Media Women in Kenya, Global Compact Network Kenya, and the Interreligious Council of Kenya, all of those who we've heard from already this morning and are here today. To conclude, I want to thank Transparency International Kenya and all of our partners working across the country every day to advance transparency, accountability that impacts all Kenyans throughout the country. Asanteni sana.
Thank you so much indeed. We support your partnership. People should always feel empowered to shine the light on corrupt activities without fear. Those people include, let's have Menti there, which organizations are here. Let's see those organizations, if we can have them on the screen. So we have Kakamega County, Mkwabe. Asante, makofi yao tafadhali. I can see Kariobangi Social Justice. Ndugu, are you going to be empowered to fight corruption? Talk to us. Talk to us. Your name, so far, what are you getting? What are you getting? What are you getting?
Comrades power. Comrades power.
Power.
Do we have the power? Ruto must go. Definitely he has to go. If corruption, we have to fight the corruption, it has to start with the president himself, trickling down to the bottom. But deep down, as the people, we have a great responsibility, because we are also the people who, in one way or another, contribute to corruption. We elect corrupt leaders knowingly. But I think in this forum, we also need to be able to understand the magnitude of corruption and how corruption impacts our lives. But I feel empowered. I'm just here also to be able to listen. Today I'm doing a lot of listening, but when an opportunity to speak comes, we'll be able to speak. But at the end of the day, when we go out, we must be public noisemakers, because silence kills. Yes.
Noisemakers, making sense. Makofi yake tafadhali. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. So please, don't be left out here. Don't be left out here. These are the people. You are the people. We are the people who will make the difference. Let's get empowered for real. Everybody, let's just be upstanding for a moment. Let's just be upstanding for a moment. We need to all have our, what I call, from my Kung Fu master, your daily dozen. He talks about your daily dozen. There are things that you do every single day, regardless of whether it's raining, it's cold, whatever. So, everything on the screen. Okay, everybody, let's go. Everybody, come on. You've got to be strong to see the future. Volume to Fadali. Come on. This is for everybody. You've got to be strong. Let's go. It's got to be a fight. But we need you healthy. We need you alive so that you can speak out. Come on. Twende. That's it. Makofi tafadhali. Thank you so much. You can kindly take your seats. We have to participate actively. Now, let's move on to the third question. Next, on Menti. Let's move on to the next question. The following, next one. We have a question here that we need your input on, because clearly we need everyone to be part of this journey. What should be the top priority? We're looking at top priority areas for the fight against corruption in Kenya. We've made it normal. Just came to know that we have normal people, normal Kenyans. I wonder the others are called what? But what should be the top priority areas for the fight against corruption? We're using this particular platform so that we can get your words as they are from you. But in case you want to raise comment, question, all right. Kutoka Nakuru. Na Kakamega, please be ready. You microphone,
Thank you.
Okay, go ahead.
Viva, comrades, viva! Viva, TI, viva! You seem not to be ready to fight corruption. Because corruption requires energy. My name is Martin Lunala, as I said, and the topmost area of priority of my interest is through the Ministry of Health of the Republic of Kenya. And this is my concern, that we need to have ministries in this country that involves people during policy reforms, policy legislation, and policy implementation. We've seen the Ministry of Health in the Republic of Kenya not involving the key stakeholders, the citizens themselves, to prioritize what they want inputted in the document that are supposed to offer service delivery. We need to see a clear participatory involvement of Kenyans, more especially at the county levels, because we know despite despite health being devolved, we still have a lot of power at the national level. So we want to see the CS for Health declaring that when they are doing reproductive health policies, when they are doing adolescent, young people, sexual reproductive health policies, they are having the right voices on the table to discuss what are these key issues that are undermining the rights of Kenyans.
Excellent, thank you so much. Next, we have a microphone there. We kindly request that we have the microphones all over the place. We've got a microphone. Jina lako tafadhali? Na kama unaweza weka iwe dakika moja tutashukuru ili kila mmoja wetu
okay. My name is Charles Okwemba, HSC from Kakamega. The key priority area that I would like to be taken in is the leadership. Leadership, I talk of politicians. They come down, they bribe people. So in normal cases, we don't elect the rightful people. So that should be corrected. Number two is the public participation issue. The people that are taken to the forums for public participation are not the rightful people. They are corrupted by the county governments, and they discuss nothing, but they pass the bills. Thank you.
Next. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
This is a greeting of peace. My white hair betray my age. But when you talk about Gen Z, we get confused because we don't even know where to place ourselves. Anyhow, having been in this field for quite some times, we have witnessed a lot of corruption. I'm a human rights defender for the past 30 plus years, and I've become increasingly frustrated. We talk a lot here. I find it amusing. We know what corruption is. We know what it has done to this country. We have reported, we have fought it. We are going nowhere. This is the reality. We talk about, I was a bit inspired when Kibaki came to power, when people started arresting police officers in the streets and corrupt government officers. We know this guy, I don't know, is it Gathong? I don't remember his name, who had a whole ministry fighting corruption. A few years down the line, the ministry collapsed, simply because people in power and corrupt fight back. Corruption runs across board, whether it is at the national government level or even in the civil society areas. It is everywhere. I've reported cases to anti-corruption bodies, all these independent commissions. I've gone to NIS, ICC, DCI. As late as last week, I wrote a letter. I come from Kibra. The local administration is corrupt completely. I've been going to that office and reporting corruption, but nothing happens. So the area of priority, I wouldn't like to give a whole history because it's long. We need an effective mechanism to fight corruption, an effective independent mechanism. I'm not going to give solutions here. It's an, I don't know, independent body, I don't know. But we need an effective way where you can report corruption and see action being taken. I wouldn't say exactly what it is. And I wish Jay-Z's, you call yourself Gen Z's, you have the staying power to bring some sanity into our governance systems. Because the governing structure is corrupt by itself. It corrupts everything. Na vile kijana amesema hapa, sitaki kusema mingi, lakini ukitaanza kuoga unaanza kuoga kutoka kwa kichwa. I think you understand what I mean.
Officer Fadhali, asante sana.
My name is Ahmed Said from Isiolo. I'm an elder. I don't want to repeat what my colleagues have already stated. I'm in agreement that corruption is very serious in this country. But I want to remind you, all of you, and touch your hearts. We are going to be accountable to God. All of us will go back to God. Whether you have acquired wealth illegally, even a cent, that day of judgment, you will be in problems. My advice is before you leave this world, if you have taken return, haitakusaidia ile kitu that hate corruption, hate corrupt people. The Quran, even the Bible, has stated very clearly, don't steal. Na kama umechukua mhongo au umehonga, kwanza rudisha kabla fimsi haijatoka. Ukienda kwa Mungu, hiyo hukumu inakiakia. We want to remind you this, young people, everyone. Let us remind our leaders, not only the leaders, Kenya's entity, that corruption itatuletea shida, haitakuwa shida. Hata ukiwa milionea, ni shida tu unaletea familia yako na watoto wako. Kwa hiyo next thing, mwito leo, rudisha kama ulichukua. Kama wazazi wako wanakufa, rudisha. You know, when I go to rest, watu wanasema wanaenda kuzika. Huko ndio maisha ya milele na shida itakuwa mingi. And let us inculcate our traditional, our national religious values in our youngsters. You are not only you are not only let us tuko na shida ambayo imevuka sote, lazima tuinculcate in our youngsters our national values, traditional values, religious values, and fear of their might. That's all.
Ladies and gentlemen,
check. Just check are you clean? If you're clean, put up your hand. If you know corruption and attempt, put up your hand. Straight. John. Siri Jojo tuambie jina.
My name is Kenneth and since I started working in different areas, I've never done that. It is very
why don't I give you a standing ovation? Kennedy is standing here telling us since he started working, he has not been able to move. That should be the spirit. And let's just go Siri. Let's hear the story.
The security is according to the Bhagavad Krishna consciousness. When you are conscious, to avoid yourself, every materialistic cosmetic materialistic manifestations that will end up committing corruption, ending up committing different things in this society, challenges that we are facing. It is very important that when we are elected in our cities, it is important that we keep on the idea of following the Constitution, because constitutionalism is the best key for everything. So my hope is because all the entire leaders of this world, that each and every country has got a constitution, and a constitution is like a Bible, is like a bracket that gives us directions. Before we are elected as leaders, we must read a constitution. For me to be a senator, or for me to be a governor, I have to know my responsibility. I have to keep in touch with the people, because people is leadership. Because what's so close to people are the ones who ensure that they've given you everything in terms of support, giving you strength. That is okay, but especially chapter 1 of the Constitution is speaking about sovereignty of the people. Then chapter 4 of the Constitution, chapter 1 says all the sovereign power belongs to the people. It is the Constitution.
The Constitution.
Yeah. Chapter 4 of the Constitution speaking about the Bill of Rights. Yeah. We have freedom. We have right freedom of expression.
Kenneth. We'll talk. Thank you so much. We'll talk.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Just in Mahinda from Nakuru. I'm very passionate on matters of disability. Having worked with persons with disability and working for an organization that supports and promotes the rights of PWDs, I believe this is one area that most of us, we actually coerce PWDs or their caregivers to get into corrupt activities. Because of their vulnerability, we take advantage. And to me, I would say in all the sectors, in an era where we are advocating for inclusion, in an era where we are advocating for persons with disability, if it is the children, they do not necessarily need to go to special schools. They need to be integrated in our ordinary schools. But a school says, this is a child on wheelchair, how do we manage them? And because the parent really wants this child to go to this school, probably because they are still very young, they get into corrupt activities. They pay extra to the teacher to manage this child. I mean, these are things we should come alive to. A person who requires just a little assistance in our hospitals, in our buildings, we cannot help free of charge. You know, we coerce PWDs to get into corrupt activities. Can we change this? Thank you.
Thank you so much indeed. Thank you so much. Before we continue on with further discussion, we have a powerful team here. I hope they're ready. Challenging us to be excellent. Whatever you have, do it well, do it excellently. You don't have to bribe your way. I see those hands. Wasani, Sana, Mukotari. One powerful presentation. Makofi out for that. Kama unaweza kusimama unasimama.
Jahera Nyara Lagos. Kalano Migiro na Mama, Aduno Biromla. Jahera Nyara Lagos. Kalano Migiro na Mama, Aduno Biromla. Jahera Nyara Lagos. Kisumona Moje, Okuero Niyonge. Jahera Nyara Lagos. Kalano Migiro na Mama, Aduno Biromla. Jahera Mama, Aduno Biromla. Kalano Kopiga Mama, Aduno Biromla. Kalano Muriba Mama, Juworo Mupacho. Kalano Muriba Mama, Juworo Mupacho.
Well done. Thank you so much indeed. Tunashukuru kwa kazi yenu safi kabisa. Ladies and gentlemen, we want to continue on. Let's just have some of the comments that were sent. Priority areas. Menti.com. If we have Menti.com, let's just have it on the screen. As we prepare some of the voices, we have some videos on the voices from the counties. Okay. So still, do we have the voice? Do we have the voices? Voices from the counties. Let's have that video next. The videos, voices. We want to hear the different voices.
anything to fight corruption because I don't think it stops with me. It stops with the government or the much to do to stop corruption. One way or the other, I'll just find myself being corrupt or participating in corruption.
I'm trying to create awareness, educating community leaders on how they should handle their citizens with transparency, and just coming up with legal aid forums to create awareness.
Ufisadi inaanza na mimi mwenyewe. Nikiatia sheria hiyo inaleta ufisadi irudi nyuma. La pili, nikiona mtu especially hapa Kisumu tuko na watu wa county. Kuna mtu anaweza kukuja kudai usuru. Na akifika usuru saa zingine imewekwa hata kama ni 100. Mtu anakuja anakuambia umpatie 50, akupatie risiti. Sasa ni jukumu langu nikataa kulipa nusu, nilipe full, nipigana na ufisadi.
My personal responsibility is to find these avenues. When you find avenues where the corruption is happening, whether it's the Huduma centers, whether it's the government institutions, we have to raise our voice. I have to raise my voice. And every Kenyan has to do that.
My personal contribution is one, I have to be a law-abiding citizen. Number 2, I have to be responsible, even to learn as a good example and role model to the society.
Kama mwana bodaboda, jambo la kwanza katika idara yangu ya bodaboda katika Uasin Gishu, ninajaribu sana kuelimisha wenzangu. Apili pia kama kuna jambo ambalo limefanyika, tunapenda kuripoti.
I don't give out small whenever I'm asked by even the police officers. I don't give out anything, and I always do what's supposed to be done. Whenever I'm caught in the wrong side of the law, I love to face the law the way it is. And I always speak about it. I always raise my voice. I always say this is wrong. However much, people may not take me serious because people will ask, where do you come from? Because they believe that corruption it's a norm. But for me, I just say no to it. However small it may be, I always stand with my integrity. Whether I'm seen by anybody, whether I'm not seen, I'll always say no.
As an advocate of disability rights and inclusion and somebody who works with the communities, one, it's empowering people to understand their human rights and also to understand their opportunities and to understand their rights when it comes to those opportunities. And also to enlighten the community to understand things like the public participation. When a public bill is being passed at a local level, they have to participate and be part of that planning.
My fight against corruption comes in whereby, since I'm a writer, I usually write pieces that condemn the people who are engaged in corruption. At the same time, I'm also into acting. So we also have some drama and, let's say, series. There's a series I've worked on that is against embezzlement of funds. Yeah, so we are creating awareness to fight against it.
The first thing that I'm doing to fight corruption is tracking of the county government promises using the manifesto, and that I'm referring to the Mombasa County. And the next thing that I'm doing is participating in these budget processes. I also do participate in the community sensitization.
As an activist, I have a responsibility. First, not to promote corruption. Secondly, to assist culprits or to assist people who are involved in corruption, who are negatively affected by corruption, and at the same time to create awareness about this issue to the local community that I live in.
Mimi kama mimi mtu wa bodaboda napigana na ofisadi ile nikishikwa na polisi, niko na driving license, niko na insurance, polisi akinishika paka nipeleke tu kotini kwa sababu niko na kila kitu. Sasa kama atataka pesa nitamwambia mimi nipeleke ndani, nipeleke kotini.
Aha. Inuka ni sisi. And to talk to us more about that and more, before we watch the next video, a big round of applause to Dr. Kawive Wambua. Karibu sana. Yeah, it's okay.
Maria asubuhi. Good morning. There is a saying for those who go to church, which people mouth all the time. God is good, you see? But what is the goodness of God when you as a person, you keep on saying God is good all the time, and you as a person have never asked yourself that question. Are you good? Don't ask somebody else, ask yourself, are you good? Mujiulize. Ask yourself actively. This is a participatory session. Am I good? What does good mean? What is the purpose of your life, and what is the goal that you set for yourself? Have you ever imagined yourself as corrupting your own way to goodness? Kwa sababu imam, nafikiri we ni imam, amesema kwamba it is God to whom we shall return. It is God to whom we should account. Now you are made in the image of God. And this is where I would like us to begin. Watu wakisema inuka ni sisi, ni kumaanisha kwamba ni wewe mwenyewe uamke useme what is your contribution to corruption or to the goodness of the world. It's about culture. One of the institutions that is collaborating with us, called Uraia, has a value which is called Utu. And Utu is also called Ubuntu in Shona language. And Ubuntu and Utu means I am because you are. So we will not be talking about corruption here if you add Utu. If Kenya add Utu, we would not have our children or ourselves in the streets saying we don't want to be oppressed. Sindio? Kwa nini nimeongea vibaya? Tungekuwa na utu katika nchi hii, we will not have our children out in the streets saying that we are oppressed, we are jobless, we do not have support from the government, we do not want our parents to suffer. We want our education to be good education. We will not have that. So I think we should all embrace, and this is at the individual level, because it's from the individual that then we get a community, and from the community that we get a society. So let's start at the individual level. Do you have Utu? Can you account to yourself about yourself? You know this, youngsters, if you are clean, stand up. There's only one person who stood up, for your information. One. Did you notice? Will you notice? Sasa tunaongea nini hapa? What are we talking about? I don't sit there righteously with sanctimony. Unakaa hapo unasema hata mimi lakini unaona hii sawa tu. No. Talk to yourself. Talk to your children. Talk to your parents. Talk to your community. Let us build a community that is corruption free. Na yule mtu ambaye unanyamaza, wewe ni mfanyikazi, unaona director wa organization anafanya akiiba ama akipeana tenda kwa wenzake na unanyamaza, you are as guilty as that director. Huwezi kusimama hapa usema ati walifanya na mimi. If you saw it and you didn't do anything about it, then you are even worse off than the person who is stealing, because at least they steal, they benefit. You see people be stealing and you don't benefit and you keep quiet.
Yeah.
They're actually even not very wise. Si ni ukweli? So that one person who stood and you did not stand and you are seated here, let us start with utu. Let us start with self-introspection. Let us start with self-evaluation. Vitu vidogo vidogo tu, unatuma mtoto kwa duka, unampea shilingi 5 ya switi. What are you doing? Kama ni mtoto unamtuma kwa duka, unamtuma kwa duka. Si ndio? Huyu mtoto ukimpa shilingi 5 ya switi, fine, unasema ni mtoto wako, unamlisha vizuri. Lakini kesho atademand switi kutoka kwa mwajiri wake. Mwambie unataka mimi niende hii kazi? Bwana niangalie. That is how culture starts. It starts with small, innocuous things that you don't realize, that you don't plan for, that look ordinary, that look even usual. So I would say that Inuka as an organization was founded by a whistleblower, John Githongo. You know him very well. John Githongo started Inuka after he was run out of town by all the people who wanted him to keep quiet. He saw people stealing, he said. Then they ran him out of town. Then they followed him and took him to court. Then the court charged him, was it 50 million, for saying that people were stealing. For saying that, he's taken to court and he's charged that amount of money just for saying that people were stealing. So fighting corruption is not cheap. It comes at a personal expense. But it is the way. And the way must be the way that we follow. Kuna mwandishi mmoja anaitwa Aikwei Ama, ameandika kitabu inaitwa 2000 Seasons. Anasema kwa hicho kitabu kwamba the way, our way as Africa is the way of reciprocity. If you cannot reciprocate for being alive, for being a human being, for having children, for having a family, for having friends, and you reciprocate by doing good, and doing good is like uprooting corruption, then you are not in the way. You are not in our way. Kuwa uhai wako, kuwa uhai, si kitu rahisi. Don't take it for granted. You should pay for your being alive by being corrupt-free and fighting corruption. Thank you so much.
Wow, 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 wow. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Makofi yake nyingine tafadhali. You know, this is a story as we move, and we'll be listening to some of the key representatives here. And immediately after that, we'll now launch some awards as we celebrate integrity actions. But this is a story that probably you've watched it before. Let's just have that screen. You see, it's a story of this little boy in India. A tree fell, blocked the road. Everybody was waiting for somebody to remove it. The government to remove it. So let's all be stuck in the traffic jam until somebody removes the tree trunk. But this little boy gets off. They were supposed to remove it, but you see it started raining, so what do? You wait for the rain to stop. But little boy says, you know what? I'm little, that's a big tree trunk, but I have something bigger inside of me. I think I can provide the solution. It goes, starts pushing. You and I know There is nothing he could do to move that tree trunk. But there was something he was doing in the minds of the people watching. And the little ones joined. The little ones joined. One by one, they joined to provide a solution. And little by little, those in their shops, those in their offices, in their cars, realized, wait a minute, if a little boy can do this, what if all of us did it? And together they were able to provide a solution for themselves. You see, that's why we're here. And Transparency International Kenya is saying, hey, we can do it together. We can do it. We can do it. We can do it. We need you. We need you. Ladies and gentlemen, let's now listen to these gentlemen and ladies. 2 minutes each because of time. It's exactly 15 minutes past 11. So 2 minutes, I'll have a timer here just to guide us through. But in case you have any other accompanying statement, just put up your hand. I will make sure you get the microphone. We'll start off by Bwana Michael Oduor from Kawangware. Uko wapi? Makofi yake tafadhali. 2 minutes. Paul Masese from Nakuru, up next. Microphone tafadhali. Talk to us here. Talk to us here. Yeah, we want to connect. Hapa. Bwana Michael, hata usiende mbali. Tuko hapa pamoja. Talk to us.
Okay. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. The protocol observed. I think we are not here by mistake. We are not here by mistake. And anybody who is here and thinks that is in the wrong place, start re-energizing your mind and start thinking that what is that made you be here. I believe generations have come and they have gone. And my senior here has just said, you as you sit here today, with your generation, what have you done for this republic? That someone would stand and say, during my time, this is what we did. We have heard of the GNZs, and the problem that they are talking about is not a problem of today. True or false? It's not a problem of today. It's a problem of some few cocoons just decided not to do something right so that we can be where we are today. And what I'm saying is this, that in the spirit of our constitution, as Kenyans, we have been told from time and again that no stone shall be left unturned. Has it not been the statement? It has been the statement that no stone shall be left unturned. Have they turned those stones? We make 10 steps ahead. The government of the day comes, makes 20 steps behind. We make 5 steps ahead. Every government comes, makes 10 steps behind. So you as a citizen and me as Michael, as a champion of good governance, as somebody who is working on access to justice, I was, and Madam Sheila, you can bear witness, I was there, one of the drafters of the Whistleblowers Protection Bill at Lukenya in 2013. Still struggling to make it be a law, an act of this republic. What are we saying? Do we have deficits of people who can reason enough? No. Do we have people who cannot stand and say, we need to protect those people who are talking about the Masai Mara issue? No. People should stand up and ask pertinent questions. Why are we not having the bill? Why is Mama Mboga in the village in Kawangware cannot stand up and say, where is the receipt for this 100 shillings or 50 bob that you are collecting from me? Where is the receipt for the, what we call motivation money that I'm paying in primary school A or B, or even if it's that secondary? Is it that corruption? How would you be able to keep that principle, that kanjo, to account when you have no evidence that you yourself has been issued with a receipt for the purposes of the money that has been collected from you? So I stand up today and challenge us all, the players on good governance, we people that are fighting this monster called corruption, we must stand up in solidarity. And I want to tell you, it is just the beginning. We always ask Baba, they did the multi-party and democracy thing then. We always ask Wakina, my brother here, the media fraternity, you have unmasked. Now this young generation is here. It is an unstoppable move. A move that is going to clear each and every sector. That is what we are looking for. There is no sector that is going to be left. And if you don't watch this space very well, be very careful. This wave might sweep with you. We want you to be in the right books. I thought MPs would be here, or senators or somebody. If at all they were here, they would have been positioned to hear this. That this movement is going to sweep almost everybody. Unless you are in the right position, where these young men and women of this republic want you to be, you will be swept. And we are there. We are in support. And viva, comrade, viva. Viva. There we shall be. Thank you so much.
Asante sana, makofi yake. Thank you so much. Bwana Paul. Bwana Paul, uko tayari? Njoo tafadhali, dakika tatu.
Comrades power. Many years ago, we gathered here. I can see a few faces. Kawive is the foremost. And thank you, Shira, for making this to happen here. It reminds us of when we were Genesis of our time. And 3 minutes might not be enough, but let me donate half a minute for us in our heart of hearts to remember our children who were brutally murdered in the streets in defense of our country. So I'm not going to ask you to stand up, just close your eyes or open them up, whichever way you deem fit for you. But remember those children. They did what we may not have done, especially now. They say there are 41 of them, but I know the number could be much bigger. Let them not die in vain. Thank you so much. My name is Paul Masese. Mimi ni mtumishi katika shirika la Center for Enhancing Democracy and Good Governance. We cooperate very closely with Transparency International, INUCA, and other civil society organizations present here to do a little bit to contribute to the fight against corruption. Many of us in civil society, what we do is very small. Actually, the men I've seen around apply source accountability tools to detect and report corruption. That's very little. If you think about corruption holistically, the kind of corruption we are engaged in fighting is the small ones. The mega corruption, the illicit financial flows, we are yet to touch there substantively. And my call today first is to the international community. I think you've supported successful regimes in this country to steal from us. So it's time that you did demonstrate that you are actually true and serious about joining, especially the third world, to fight corruption. Africa has been pleading. The first book I read on this topic was a book that was written, I think, by Clarion, The Anatomy of Corruption, or I know it as Kivuta Kibana and Smoking Wanjara as authors or editors. And it describes what corruption does and how corruption operates. Today, as we are all seated here, I think no one should teach us about corruption. We know how it affects us directly. So I call upon the international community. Everything we see happening around, including Eurobond, there's nowhere 50% of Eurobond would have found itself elsewhere if there was no collusion, maybe from the lenders. Number two, there's a lot of emphasis on the laws, policies to fight corruption. Yes, we need laws and policies, but are we operating in a lacuna? We have a constitution, and if I look, my reading of the constitution is that it has enough that we can use, even as we wait for the other laws. The Ethics and Anti-Corruption Act, for example, has things to do with, protection, whistleblowers. How much of that law have we applied? That's not to say that it's not urgent that we finalize the journey of formulating that law. It's indeed very urgent, and now we need to join hands to do so. Finally, I think it's in regard to our children again. You saw that clip that Mwakazi showed us? You saw? It took a small child to bring on board all the others, and eventually the tree was pushed out of the road. We might not run as fast as they can. We don't have the pace. I was a Gen Z of today 20 years ago, so my limbs are weaker now. But we must do all within our means to protect our children. And what can we possibly do? Put yourself in the shoes of any parent who lost a child just this last week. Feel the pain. What would you do? I dare all of us here to stop playing lip service. We need to pour out in the streets. As the good saying goes, the fish starts rotting from the head. And we sure know the head. Why can't we cut it off and throw it away, if only to protect the whole fish? Thank you so much.
We've heard from the gentleman. And by the way, if you can just, do you have your camera focus on this? Where's the roving camera? Roving camera. Akwapi? Okay, we'll unleash that. But Selina Chieng, before, just be on standby. But let me just come to this. I saw this and I said, there's something she's communicating. Just the first statement. Just talk to us how that message really speaks to even our fight against corruption.
Good morning. Okay, my name is Melissa, and I'm from Amwick, and also a freelance journalist. And okay, you just ambushed me, but whatever he has spoken, okay, I'm a Gen Z, and the deaths and all that happened really shattered us very much. And as a Gen Z, we are here to say that we must fight corruption. As a journalist also, we must fight corruption. Thank you.
You know, I saw the first statement here. Just read it out.
Here, girls first.
Girls first.
Yeah.
How important is that in our fight against corruption? I mean, that's a message. And by the way, we need to be sending messages everywhere we go. And you're sending a message subliminally.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So this message here, it was a summit that he attended. And in this summit, there was girls. In fact, there were little children. And their main aim was to put ladies first, so that they can get, especially those who are in the rural areas, so that they can get the basic needs such as sanitary pads. And I remember those who are the most concerned, those girls were talking about sanitary pads and education.
Yeah.
Big round of applause to Melissa. Thank you so much. I hope we take that lesson that everywhere we go, we must be walking CVs, where we're speaking about our values, what we believe in, and what we stand for. Celine Achieng, where are you? Talk to us 3 minutes because of time. Celine Achieng, mpelekee microphone tafadhali. Asante sana. Makofi yake tafadhali.
Hi guys, I'm Celine Achieng. Natoka Kawangware, acha nisijichoche sana. So I'm so happy to be here. I represent persons with disability, and recently hata mimi nilikula tear gas kadhaa. And about that also, people kind of criticized me. Why was I in the streets? What was I doing there? It wasn't safe for me, you know, all those things. But as we advocate for the rights of persons with disability, without me going out and, you know, making ourselves known that we are also in the community, because most of the time we come after. Vitu zote zilisha happen, ndo nakumbuka haya, kuna kuanga na walemavu. And it's not right. So I heard a lady talking about persons with disability, everything that goes on inatufanya tuna engage in corruption, and it's true, because accessibility kwanza ni problem. Just getting education is a problem. Getting to the offices is a problem. Getting a job is a problem. So if we don't advocate for ourselves, no one will know, no one will understand. It's only ourselves. And that's the problem where I don't know who advised the budget making people that they are supposed to tax wheelchairs. For real. Unaweza aje tax mguu ya mtu shwari? So I think those are the problems, because without inclusion, no one will know that there are things that are happening in the society. So fight for corruption inaanza na mimi, and tunazidi kuelimisha wenzetu kuwa si kila kitu unafaa kupatiana pesa, ama unafaa kufanya kitu kingine in exchange, because sometimes you find even in markets, for you as a person with disability to access a place where you can even just sell your stuff, someone will even come and ask for sex in return for you to get the place, you know. And those are the saddest things that happen in the society without other people knowing. So yeah, thank you for your time.
Wow, wow, wow. Thank you so much, Celine. So let's get the gentleman in red. I'm not sure whether I want to read what is written on your shirt, but it's team, huh?
This is Manchester.
Okay.
Comrades power. For me, one thing that I feel we are all products of education systems that we've had. I am a student I just cleared in the University of Nairobi, and when I joined here 4 years ago, we would pay 26,000 to study for a whole year, and probably 5,000 for hostels. I believe that was possible for any parent in the country. I believe that was possible for anyone to acquire. Right now, the hostels are 42,000. Fees is crazily about 209,000. You can imagine, if we are not educated, what else can we do as a country? The reason why we are talking about corruption here is because we are all educated. We can be able to expose them and see what is being done to us. If we take the country back to where people are not educated, then we are losing it. And I feel like we should start by, education should be the most basic free thing. It should be given to anyone so freely. Sometimes I imagine we are 7 of us in our home, and I'm the only one who got a privilege to come to school. If my mom, who is a single mother, was to educate all of us, that means the rest of my brothers will not come to university. And it is so painful to imagine that it is ending with us. It is now I mean, you'll have to sell everything to take one child to school, and you probably have 3 more behind. So I feel like we need to push this so much, and I know the Gen Zs we will be handling one item at a time. Once we are done with the doctors, we are coming back to education.
Yeah.
We cannot have a situation where this country is our own country, and my main concern was, I think we'll get to a point where we have schools, teachers without students. And that is a very sad situation. So we push. Gen Zs, if we are here, we push. We shall push until this country becomes ours, and that we shall enjoy being in this country, so that everything becomes nice.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you for your input. Before we take more, just allow me to give this opportunity to Bwana Samuel Mboro, representing small traders. Bwana Samuel, then we get those comments. And I'd kindly request, because of time, we keep it to 1 minute so that we can give as many people a chance as possible. Go ahead. 3 minutes, Bwana Samuel.
Thank you. Madam Sheila, all the partners involved for this function, hamjambo. Kadri naomba kwa heshima kuu tuchukue dakika moja kwa niaba ya zile biashara zote zimechomwa. Sai mtu alikuanga anafanya kazi last week, leo hii hata chakula hawezi wekelea kwa meza. Kadri, with all respect, let's have a moment of silence, just 1 minute, as we remember our brothers and sisters for now who are jobless. Kindly. Thank you. My name is Samuel Mburu, Secretary General of Kenasfit. This is an alliance of MSMEs. Ama kwa lugha ya mtaa wana jua kali. The today's employer in Kenya. Kazi za maofisi ni kidogo, wengi wetu tuko mtaani. Among us, ni wangapi tuko na hasa huko nje? Ni wangapi tuko na hasa huko nje? Hata kama uko kwa ofisi najua uko na hasa mahali. Ni wangapi tuko na hasa? Kwa wale wako na mshahara, I'm looking forward for your membership soon. Kwa sababu, sikia vinye prezo alisema juzi, retirement inakuja. Situlisikia? Tumetoka wakati wa COVID. Watu wa maofisi walienda wapi? So walikuja huko nje. Please, I always advocate for a viable working space today at today afternoon. Nafanya nini kwa hii mtu anaitwa corruption? We are empowering the MSCs, yule mama mboga na baba nyama. On one, ajue haki zake. I'm sure we are all conversant with CBD. Kuna kagari kadogo kakajo. Tunakajua. Tushajiuliza kwa nini hiyo gari haijaangi? Hata ikizunguka the entire CBD. Tushajiuliza ni kwa nini haijaangi? I'm trying to support the words from my sister. Mwenye amesema, even when we are doing our working activities huko nje, they usually face sexual favors. It's true. Within that cavern, kama huna 500 ya kujiokoa, utoke hapo hivyo, mwishowe sarili, you will have to cope na watu wako hapo ndani. Not only madada zetu, pia sisi wanaume. Wakati tunaongea juu ya sex favors, we must focus on the wamama. What of the boy child? Kwako kangari. 2, within our market setup, a good example, kuna soko iko pale Githurai. Tunainjua. Ni kwa nini leo hii? And we appreciate our donors and our private partnership kwa kazi mzuri wanatufanyia. Ushajiuliza ni kwa nini hiyo soko mpaka leo hii haijaija? Nje ya Githurai watu wanafanyia hapo ndani. Lakini next we have a 5-story market, modern market, yenye hakuna mtu anafanyia. Hapa Karioko, within roundabout ya Riverside, kuna soko inaitwa Mwalero. 3/4 of the stores, they are not working. Why? Corruption during the allocation process. Na zingine mingi na mingi na mingi. So what I usually advocate for kwa members wetu, wacha tujue kila mtu haki yake ni gani. Ukishikwa kwa hiyo ngali ya kanjo, hata ukibaki peke yako hapo hivyo, please, afadhali uende mbele, and then I summon my team, we shall inform our paralegal team mwenye mtapatana naye pale hivi wapi? Kwa City Hall. Utaeko ndani. Ukuwa mama kwa hiyo ngali, ukuwa jamaa umeshikwa cause of the sex favors, currently we are working with one of the partners on stories regarding the sexual favors within our working setup. Ya mwisho is a change of the system change. Nafikiria wengi wetu tukisikia mambo ya system, we just focus on the national government. But also you, in your individual capacity, you are part and parcel of the system change. How do we do it? The 5 categories: national government, county government, faith-based organization, civil societies, and the private partnerships. Mostly in regard of the intersexuality. Naweza sema hivyo mtu aone kama Samuel ameanguka. Samuel ameokoka na ni mzee wa kanisa. Lakini kiongea juu ya mambo ya intersexuality, hapo hivyo ndivyo shida iko. Mostly tunaangaliaga tu mambo ya gender. Hapana, sio tu gender. It's a component from the age, economic, religious, tribal background. This is all that tukibadilisha, I'm sure we can be able to fight this elephant in the house. Ya mwisho, let's always advocate for a viable informal sector working space. No one knows what nini inaweza fanyika next. Si tunaona hivi vita iko Gaza. Si tunaiona those guys, kila mtu tu anapambania tu uhai wake, tunaacha vitu zako mingi. A message to the all employed category within this building. Eda hapo nje, weke haso mahali. No one knows of the next minute. Maybe tanitafuta nikupatie space somewhere. Thank you, Madam Shela. Tisa, LTI, all my friends, hamjambo. Viva wanabiashara, viva. Viva informal sector, viva. Viva transparency, viva. Viva inua. Sisi viva. Viva Msaredo, viva. And Vivia Media, viva.
Thank you. I had a question. I had a question, Samuel. I'm just concerned you really focused on that aspect of sexual abuse as a concern. And I'm wondering, are there names of people, specific people, that you know of, that we can begin to say, we now know 1, 2, 3, 4 people? Because, sorry? Oh, it was
thank you.
No, maybe, yeah, just.
Currently we are doing a documentary in mainstream media. Wangapi tunaweza kumbuka ile nini ya Jicho Pevu, Kajo Kingdom? We are doing such a thing. In this regard, all the affected MSCs, kuna venye they have been approached by that journalist, tunakuja wanafichwa macho. It's a process. Wacha nisiongee yote hapo hivyo. It's a process of few days or few months. Tutajiona kwa screen. We will shame them. Mostly the kind na askari. Within that van, kuna kuanga na Kajo wawili saidi na askari, an armed askari. Such that mama ama mwanaume ya kujiokolea na ngali imezunguka Nairobi mzima, tumebaki wawili. My friend, sitakuwa na others. Remember, Samuel is a breadwinner wa kwake. Remember, Sam is a tenant. Kwa hivyo kuna nyumba anafaa kulipa. Some is a parent, kesho kuna mtoto anafaa kupeleka shule. Kama sina anything, what should I do? So I just part with them. So we are doing.
Big round of applause to Bwana Samuel. Thank you. What do we do to protect whistleblowers? And we want to now just move to get your points, whatever experiences you have, so that we move the needle. Let's have the timer if we can. Just please adhere to the timer so that we can get as many comments as possible. So the microphone will just move, but please keep it to 1 minute. Go ahead.
I'll be fast. Kwa majina mimi naitwa Abogo Githaiga. I volunteer for an organization called Mau Mau Governing Council of Kenya. It's an umbrella body organization concerned with those values that our forefathers fought for. It is concerned with even the scholars. It's concerned even with those organizations that really were rebelling that something changed. And what changed? It was concerned even with the first sitting, our first president telling the Mau Mau, come together, go register an umbrella body organization, come to me, then my government will work with you, so that all what you fought for, as I sit as the President Kenyatta, surely all will be well, that began well, that will end well. What am I saying? I'm saying, since 1963, when Kenyatta called the Mau Mau, and he told them, for me and this government that you have fought for, so sure, let me not talk about blood. You have shed blood, you have sacrificed the blood. Yes, for you did and for us to make things work. Go outside there, go to Sharia house, get Sir Charles Jonjo, get yourself registered, have an umbrella body that will articulate issues so that the government can work with you. Little did nobody knew, brother, that even when we were there, even when our fathers were there was a law that was saying mass movement, my dear brothers and sisters. And who could sit with the terrorists having gotten that freedom? Who could, and you, could you have sat with the terrorists? It is the law. And the law was saying Mau Mau is a terrorist. And when this law was being passed, with all the Mau Maus and even everybody was here. But when Mzungu was passing the law, others were celebrating and clapping, just the way we are doing even today.
Wow.
Simply because of interest. Why did the Mau Mau then come up with the values? Mau Mau Governing Council came up and we were pushing for those national values. We were not pushing them for fun. It was not fun in the park. We were not pushing for Mau Mau values, we were not pushing for Mau Mau values, but we were pushing for those national values. Makazi, not everybody even is talking about that small item. We read just the way people read the Bible. Which Bible? When you talk about even tithing or mambo ya kutoa ama kupanda mbegu, the national values is saying in full that part that we don't say. That not only from state officers, but all of us are inclusive. So when corruption comes, mimi siko. If it doesn't start with me, and if I'm not there, tutasoma hii ingine yote. Lakini tukisema kwamba sisi wote, at the national values is binding, chapter 10 is binding us all. Unaona mimi ninaruka. Wale ambao nasi tuko katika hiyo human rights ambao tunataka about human rights, yes, the bill is there, chapter 5. When the bill is there in chapter 5, Mwangaza, brother, we never talk about article 24, even on those limitations of right. Unanipora yote mpaka hata makodo huko nyumbani imekuja kuwa lazima nitoe kodi. So ikiwa serikali Tumefikia mahali mambo haiendi, mambo ya kodi haiendi. Tunazungumzia alternative. Alternative ile inakuja ni civil society. This is a challenge that I'm taking it by the horn. Challenge gani? Mimi ninasema kwa sababu ya bill ishakuwa operationalized, nasema hivi, kama wewe uko na NGO mahali kabla hatujasema mambo ya transition, nasema hivi, get your certificate kwanza. Hii uchafu tuko naye katika civil society NGO, sisemi all the civil society, nasema kwa National Council of NGO. 2013 ndio mara ya mwisho kulifanywa uchaguzi.
Thank you. Asante sana.
Na kwa hivyo bwana Makazi na ndugu zangu, ikiwa wewe, na ninazungumza mambo ya corruption, ikiwa wewe kusema ukweli Kenya hii na watu wote wanajua, hata mimi nilikuwa ninajua, ati Kenya Gazette ambayo iko pale kwa government printer, ikiprint wewe jina lako hapo alafu uzunguke naye kwamba wewe umekuwa gazetted, my dear brother, everybody Tom Dick and Harry, hata hawa anti-corruption watakubaliana na wewe kwa sababu uko gazetted. Little did not everybody know, hata hawa wamejigazette, nothing have been done. And here we are, atunasema tuna translate. I'm saying no.
Asante sana. Makofi yake tafadhali. Thank you so much for the comments. Naomba tafadhali wale ambao watazungumza, hebu tuwekee timer pale. Tuwekee timer tafadhali, tuangalie ili tuweze kuelekeza visawa kabisa. Lakini kabla ya kuzungumza kuna timer pale. Uko tayari? Hebu tuweke kwenye screen ili kila mmoja wetu aone.
Haya. Sitoke inde ya mada. Wale ambao ni whistleblower, wapiga kipengere, ni wanakatazana mabaya na kukumbushana mazuri. Si namna hiyo? Na Mwenyezi Mungu anapenda hivyo. Kwa hivyo ukiona mabaya na ukanyamazia, hata wewe uko ndani ya hiyo dhambi. Ukiona mabaya na ukazungumzia, hata ukiuawa, wewe utaenda pahali mzuri. Don't worry, hapana ogopa, be brave. Yale ambayo Gen Z wanafanya sasa ni kukumbusha sisi, tunakatazana mabaya na tunakumbushana mema. Lakini nataka tuwe wazalendo, tufanye mambo kwa njia ungwana, ili biashara zetu, wawekezaji wetu isiharibike. Tunapigana na ufisadi, tusije kulete mambo ambayo itajenga ufisadi zaidi. Na nawaomba, kwa sababu mimi ni mzee, kuna msemo inasema mzee aliye chini ya mti anaona mbali kuliko kijana aliye juu ya mti. Shaurianeni na wazee. We stand with you. Kwa sababu unatetea haki ya kila mnyonge, lakini tufanye kwa njia ungwana. Tuwe wazalendo. Tusiwe watu ambao tunakejeli viongozi wetu. Viongozi wetu ni watoto wetu. Hata kama ni wabaya, ile heshima ya ofisi tuwape, lakini tuwarekebishe, kwa sababu tuko na katiba na tuko na kanuni. Watu wa mataifa mengine inatuangalia. Ile vizazi inafuata nyinyi sasa, Gen Z inawaangalia. Tufanye mambo bila kuharibu, bila kutukana. If you can kill with a chocolate, why use the bullet? Thank you.
Asante sana, makofi yao tafadhali. Thank you so much. Kwa heshima kubwa ndo nimewapa wakati, lakini kwa wengine wetu tafadhali, nikiweka wimbo naomba utasimama, sawa? Tuanze dakika moja, twende.
I'm not taking much of the time, but at the end of the day, niambie mzee ya kwamba respect is a two-way traffic. So kama hao viongozi hatuheshimu, hata sisi tenda hivyo hivyo. So yangu ni kwamba I want to throw ball back to us. There is no way unaweza chagua fisi. You cannot appoint hyena to look after the sheep and expect the sheep to be okay. So we need to get it right at the ballot box. Right now the power is with the people. Sindio? At the heart of the problem we are facing right now as a country is corruption. Pesa tunakopa, tunaiba. So let us, at the end of the day, now that we have the power, what we need to be able to do is to elect the right leaders, redefine our values as a country, but of end is ni kwamba we name and shame. Unaona vile tunawasalimia? Tuanze ku name and shame, tuweze kuwasalimia all the corrupt leaders in this country. That is how we are going to end this menace. Thank you.
Asante, well done, well done, well done, well done. Keep time. Thank you so much. Go ahead. 1 minute.
Yes, how are you? The biggest challenge which I find that we are also not considering is our education systems. Because the way we've been brought up, what we've gone through in classes, we only praise the rich. And so you find when they get kind of office, they are only fighting to rise financially. And we fail to understand that there is nothing like poverty. But when we talk of physiological deprivation, psychological lack, and also monetary lack, that's when we can term a person as a poor person. So the biggest challenge is the idioms we learn. It is lack of ethics. It is lack of honesty. And it is lack of understanding. We left the community values and we turned to self-centeredness, whereby I need to only be there so that people can praise me. I've borrowed a great leaf from these gentlemen, actually the warriors and all that. When they have, everybody has. But when has, it is only myself and I alone.
Asante.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Now, up next, go ahead. Thank you so much. 1 minute. Let's have the timer on.
Thank you. I will just say this, that after the independence, we had a constitution that our leaders still did not respect. After the independence constitution, in 2010, we enacted a new constitution. Our leaders have failed to still respect it. Laws, we have very many laws in this country that are still being mutilated. We have so many agencies and institutions in this country that are still being mutilated. Now the Gen Zs and the millennials, we are saying, we're even tired of the church. Why? The church has become the weakest link towards corruption. The judiciary has become the weakest link towards corruption. And we are saying this, just as one has said, we will only cooperate when these people will start respecting the constitution. Boom. And until they respect the constitution, we will keep going one by one to them. Let it be known to them that we are saying we will not wait and say wacha tuombe, watu twende tuombe tutafute maombi ndio tuweze kusolve issues zetu. For the longest we've seek for maombi na haijasikika. Tunasema we will go for all of them one by one.
One by one.
Once again, salam alaikum.
Salam.
I won't take much of your time. Nitaanza kwa vijana. Name and shame. That's a good starting point. Tuwaangaze, tuwaweke kwenye kio, kila mtu aone. That is one way of starting. Two things have been said here and I want a quick one on them. The constitution has been defiled. Imenajisiwa. Our constitution. Bila kuitakasa. Without a cleansing ceremony on this constitution, we are not going far. Emphasize that one. Let us strengthen that one. If power does not go back to the people, bado tumekuwa defiled, tutakuwa ni watu ambao watakuwa wanakanyagwa milele na milele. That's all I have to say.
Asante sana. Makofi tafadhali. Let me get a lady. A lady please. A lady please. Go ahead. 1 minute. Timer on. Go ahead.
Comrades, power. Comrades, power. Mine is just to call a personal reflection. Number one, I will say that most of us say that we have engaged in corruption, but I will say it is small-scale corruption, sindio? But the reason we are engaged in small-scale corruption and not in the big ones, like in a Eurobond, why you an MP today, would you have rejected the 2 million to vote yes? Why you an MP today, would you have used the CDF money constructively? So it is a personal reflection.
Who is saying yes there? Nakuja kwako. Continue.
Like, it is a personal reflection for you to know that it starts with yourself. Don't just condemn others because you don't have the opportunity. Start with yourself so that by the time you get up there, then we have integrity in our offices. And then number 2, we need to call corruption all the time. When corruption is benefiting us, we usually call it connection. We need to stop that at all levels, that whether it is benefiting you or not, it is still corruption, and it must stop, and it must start with you. And lastly, we need to maintain to our leaders that it is not a favor for them to do the right thing. When they drop the finance bill, it is not a favor. We don't have to clap for them because they shouldn't have brought it to us in the first place, right? We don't start clapping because they have done one right thing and then we forget all the other wrongdoings that they are doing. When they compensate all those people who died, it is still not enough. We still need to call out all the wrongdoings that are happening in the country. And lastly, let me insist that it starts with you as an individual.
Starts with
Thank
you. Asante sana. Let me get another lady. Okay, is there another microphone? Close there. Let's have them close. Okay, let's go. 1 minute, please. Let's have the...
My name is Rachel Modhoni Njoroge. I come from Sustainable Sounds Initiative. Mostly we look at refugee health rights. We are a host country. We are not even respecting our own constitution. Our leaders are failing us. We are a host country to refugees. How do they stand in our country and even find a safe space where we are not even finding a safe space ourselves? Thank you.
Habari zenyu, jinsia, millennials. Sasa, mi niko hapa, sitaenda story mob. Hatukuna ubaya, hatuwaheshimu, tunawaheshimu na tunawapenda sana. Mmejaribu, mmepigana na mmefika hapo. It's time Gen Zs na millennials tuko hapo pale na hatuchoki. So long as we are MP ama nani ulikuja kwa ground, ukauza sera, tukakwambia tunataka nini. For example, uko kwa nyumba, inafaa uoshe vyombo ufue unini. Unaosha vyombo, unaacha kufua, unataka nani afue? Unataka tuvae nini? Tutakuuliza kwa nini venye ulienda hapo ulikubali kuosha vyombo na kufua. Mbona uoshe vyombo uache kufua nguo? Kama huwezi osha vyombo na nguo, turudi nyumbani. Na atumalizie hapo. Na hivyo ndio kutaenda hadi vile tutapata mwenye atafanya hizo kazi zote.
Asante.
Comrades.
Anataka kuzungumza pia.
Halo. Vijana. Twende. Tulitangulia street sisi wa mama. First day tulikuwa huko. So atuwapei nafasi, tumedanganywa, tumechoka. Na vile unasema hata mtachukua ID za wazazi, anzeni kuficha sahi. Don't relent things. It's time for actions.
Haya, nyuma.
Haya. Praise God. Sasa mimi naitwa Mhubiri Makatu. Nimeona religious leaders pale. Hamjambo. Nataka niunge mkono kwa upande wa makanisa. Na nataka niongee Kiswahili kwa sababu mimi nilizaliwa Tanzania, lakini baba yangu ni Mkenya na nimekuja naishi Kenya. Sasa mimi ni Mkenya. Si ni kweli? Ninaomba tafadhali sisi watumishi wa Mungu, kasumba ile ambayo tumeishi ndani, tumeacha kuonyesha watu njia ya kwenda kutafuta ufalme wa mbinguni. Tunataka kutafuta ufalme wa ulimwenguni mpaka tumefika mahali tumeabudu wanasiasa. Tuache. Let us sanitize churches, tuondoe uchafu, tuonyeshe watu ukweli na tusimame kwa ukweli. Sisi tunaweza fanya, we are the only people wale ambao tunaweza fanya. Hata huyo president atupigie magoti na atapiga magoti kwa ukweli, lakini tukiendelea hivyo tuta lose kanisa na tuta lose nchi yote na watu wote. Thank you so much.
Asante sana. Go ahead.
Good morning. My name is Bishop Richard and I'm an anti-corruption crusader. I love this conversation. You said, how are we going to protect the whistleblower? This is what we need. And I appreciate our able CEO, Madam Sheila. The country is ready to talk. You see the brevity of the Gen Z. Gen Z, they are ready to speak. But the problem is the protection. We need this to move out. The country is ready to talk. We're tired of corruption. I have contributed in the fight against corruption in my own way. If you are a Kenyan who has eyes opened, things are bad in this country. We are almost losing the country. This country is so much wealthy. Just given the amount of money we are losing every day, over 2 billion. If we can close those loopholes, and it is time for me, it's me to speak up. I've personally taken just the step. I've written 2 resource books, which are endorsed by the ASCC and lodged by the Judiciary, Excellency, Her Ladyship, Mother Koome. So these things about corruption, I say, if we have to win the fight or the war, it should start with me. We don't need passion to fight corruption. We just need to have values and morals and responsibility. My slogan is building Kenya. You remember?
Building Kenya?
Branding Kenya.
Branding Kenya.
It is our time. We see this and we don't wait for them to say it, as we saw that small clip. Let us take action. Let me tell you one thing, Makazi. We are tired of what the church is doing. I am an ordained bishop. But what I see in church, that is where corruption and the demon of corruption has taken. Sometimes I just say, if I'm given, I will advise the president.
1 minute, 1 minute. Put the 1 minute.
If I'm given to advise the president, I'll tell the president, just chase all those clergy around you. I'll tell them that way. Because I don't know what they tell apart from just taking selfies. I wonder, what contribution have they made? It is time he surround himself with a fresh clergy, both pastors and the imams and the other people. So it is time, let us love this country, let us move and do the little things that the hummingbird that went to the river and put the small thing. It is our country, we should love this country. Thanks so much, brother.
Asante sana, go ahead, 1 minute.
Thank you. Kwa jina ni Peterson Sure. Nimeshukuru ile clip ambayo nimeona hiyo picha ya mtoto. Nilipokuwa nikifundisha watoto juu ya chapter 6 of the Constitution. Mtoto mmoja ambaye ako grade 6. Baba yake akiwa kwa gari ya babake ni mchungaji. Wakashikwa. Ati gari yao iko defective. So wakapelekwa kwa police station. Wakiwa kwa police station, kumbe askari alikuwa anataka kitu kidogo. Mtoto akasema ya kwamba ninahisi njaa. Mtoto wakati ambao baba ana negotiate na askari pale nje, mtoto alitoka nje na akaenda direct kwa ofisi ya OCS. Akauliza OCS, kwa nini mmeshika baba? Kwa nini mmetuweka hapa na mimi ninahisi njaa? Ni mtoto wa grade 6. Baba askari huyu ambaye ni OCS alitoka nje akakuja kuangalia kama kweli babake yuko hapo kwa police station. Kuenda mtoto alimdirect mpaka mahali ambao babake alikuwa na gari. OCS akauliza yule askari ambaye alikuwa amechukua kifunguo. Akamuuliza kwa nini huyu mtoto wako hapa? Mwambia effective. Inahitaji iweze kurekebishwa na wapeleke mahali ambapo inastahili irekebishwe. Naye mtoto alikuwa anasikiza. Akauliza, tukiwaachia hii gari hapa mna uwezo wa kurekebisha? Kwa nini msituruhusu tuende gari irekebishwe, tuwaletee hapa ili muweze kufanya assessment muone kama ni nzuri ama si nzuri? Mimi nahisi njaa, basi ninunulie chakula nikule kwa sababu nahisi njaa. Askari yako na lingine, OCS aliambia askari ambaye alikuwa ameshika gari, kamwambia peana kifunguu huyu mtoto aende. Huyu mtoto wa grade 6 juzi alikuwa anaambia babake, mimi ni mchungaji, nyinyi mmeshindwa mkiwa wazazi, mmeshindwa, mimi naenda maandamano. Ninunulie ili niende maandamano. What am I saying? Sisi wote wacha tuchukue jukumu la kutetea nchi hii. Thank you.
Asante sana. Kutoka na just before 1 minute please. 1 minute please.
Good morning. My name is Betty Sharon from Mombasa. Gen Z's oe. Comrades power. Me nina support. You are picking it from where we left it. Me and wakina Misese. Kwa nini? Kwa sababu tulikuwa sasa tuko ndani ya nyumba. Wachache ndio wanatoka. Nimesikia mkiambiwa ya kwamba you need protection. No one will give you. You say Constitution says that power is with the people. No one will give you power. Take it. Your protection is your number. Wakati mko wengi, hamutawawa nyote. When I saw you on the barabara, I felt happy and proud of you. Come out, we will support you. Your number is your protection. Thank you.
Wewe. Wacha twende kule nyuma. Kule nyuma kuna jamaa pale. Alafu waje. Microphone kule nyuma tafadhali. Bio bio. It's 9 minutes past 12. We need to close this by exactly 12:20. So we have 10 minutes. Go ahead. 1 minute.
Comrades power. Yeah, this is Paul, Deputy Speaker Bunge la Mwananchi. Bunge la Mwananchi, we have been on the forefront kupigania haki ya mwananchi na kumake sure ufisadi umeisha Kenya. We have called out different officials of the government to make sure that they have acted with integrity. But most of the time, chenye imekuwa ikihappen, tumeitwa criminals, tumeitwa majina ya kiuni. But we are here to declare that we will continue supporting Gen Z. The power, the Constitution says, power belongs to people. The leaders have failed to pass the mantle. And that's why Gen Zs have come out strongly and says they want to take the mantle by force. So we support the Gen Z. Let's go out there, fight for our rights, and correct this government and realign everything. The reason as to why we have a lot of corruption in this country, it's because we don't have the action in place. So we want action and more action and more action. And because now the policies are not working, that's why tutaendelea kuwasalimia wapende wasipende.
Action, more action. Okay, 20. Go ahead. 1 minute.
The Bible says, the kingdom of God suffereth violent, and the violent take it by force. I'm a future preacher when I retire from civil society. So I think it's not about requesting, it's a must.
And I made it clear. Actually, I campaigned.
Yeah. Let's go. 3 more people, then we close.
Hai, Mwakazi, karibu tukusalimie wewe, ulituacha sana. Comrades power. I come from the coast and I represent so many of us. They are here.
Ndugu, nisalimie. Kwa pamoja. Kabisa. Unasemaje?
So take my time from now.
Kabisa, 1 minute.
All the people from the coast, this is for you. Colleagues, we are dealing with people who lost conscience. The religious leaders who are telling us to use
the comments. But I don't think I'd be doing justice to this very important day if I just don't bring to light one particular matter. Actually, it's a key legislative threat that we are facing currently. For those who have engaged on social media in the last week, especially over the weekend, you may have seen a few of us just raise concerns around a bill that is in Parliament facing corruption investigations until they are cleared. Mnakubali hiyo? They have removed EACC from enforcement of the proposed conflict of interest law, meaning that EACC will have no role to play. EACC currently is expected to investigate any cases touching on conflict of interest. But now, what the law what the amendments envision is that EACC has no role, and instead, they have given that responsibility, ya kwamba kama umepatwa na hiyo offense ya conflict of interest, it is the head of that institution where you work which will be responsible to investigate you. We have been in Kenya for many years. Do we think that is possible? Will we get justice in that way? The what these amendments also mean is that public officials will be also shielded from the requirement by EACC to scrutinize their wealth declarations to detect and recover stolen public property. The other implication is the deletion of all punitive sanctions proposed for violations, leaving compliance with the law to be driven by the individual public officials, patriotism and goodwill. Basically what they're saying is that public officials are supposed to be patriotic, they're supposed to do everything they do is for the public good, and we should rely on that, not the law, to correct issues around corruption and conflict of interest. That's basically what these amendments mean. So, Wakenya, we are calling on you once again. Please let us push the members of the National Assembly to reject these amendments that have been put on the conflict of interest bill, because they are going to severely cripple our laws. As I said, it's not just touching on the conflict of interest bill, but also on other provisions on our other laws, such as the Anti-Corruption and Economic Crimes Act. So we need all hands on deck. Let us fight once again and ensure that members of parliament serve the public interest and are not conflicted when making such critical legislative amendments. Tuko pamoja? Thank you. So back to this, sorry for taking you away from the agenda right now, which is really to also launch the nomination process for this year's National Integrity Action Awards. We were calling it the National Integrity Awards, but we wanted to emphasize on that the actions. That's also what we are looking at. What have you done? I've heard here comments about we need to be good and we need to do good. So we want to reward and recognize those people who are doing good things for Kenya. Because as we've said before, we have been talking about whistleblower protection. But we've also heard about people who have suffered severely for doing good for this country. It's so hard to do good things for this country, because instead of being celebrated, instead of receiving that pat on the back, was it Mwakazi who asked, anyone who has not been involved in corruption, stand up. Only one person stood up. And that just tells you how lonely it is to do the right thing in this country. And so we need to do much, much more to show the people who do the right thing that they are not alone, that they are not walking alone, that we are with them as a community, and that we have with these awards. We thought that we were looking at the fight against corruption from a very punitive perspective, and it was all about punish. And yes, we still want to punish those people who steal. We need to punish them. Anyone who has stolen from this country must be severely punished, and the punishment they receive should be commensurate to the amount of money or even more of what they have robbed this country and our children. But one thing that we have not done so well is celebrate those people who come out risking life and limb to protect this country by pointing out and being brave to say when wrong things are happening in our country. And that's really the intention of our awards. Currently, as Transparency International Kenya, we are implementing a 6-year strategic plan, which we call Action for Integrity. And one of the things that we're really emphasizing in our Action for Integrity is that we want to promote adherence to ethical values, norms, and behavior among citizens. Already, I think what we are seeing in Kenya is there's a sense of behavior change. People coming out to speak about what is right, and we need to encourage that more. Otherwise, if we don't encourage it, these voices that we are now seeing coming out bravely to speak for us will die out. People get depressed just fighting for this country, speaking out for this country, because sometimes you feel like, am I the only one seeing these things? Is no one else seeing? Because as I said, instead you feel sidelined, instead you feel stigmatized, alone, lonely. The fight against corruption, that journey, that when you decide to take that journey, it can be a very, very lonely journey. And that is why we think it's important to recognize those. So it is not, don't worry, I will not go to my little office and decide I'm going to award this one, I'm not going to, no. It's going to be a very open, transparent, and inclusive process, and that is why we are calling for your nominations. Indeed, I have seen a number of people here who already qualify. Yes? Si tumeona. People who are very bold and maybe doing good things out there. But we need you to come out and award categories. We have 5 award categories, but I can assure you it is a very transparent process. We have a panel, I said, of other organizations who we have asked to give us representatives to sit on that panel. And this, whatever names they give us, the nominations, are processed through we have what we call the Integrity Awards Board for our board of directors. So again, it is not me who will make that decision on who gets the award. It's a very inclusive process.
Well, huh? I just wanted to check. Yeah, thanks, bro.
I thought we only mute mics in virtual sessions. So I think there's someone's mic we can hear. Someone's mic is on. Okay, thanks. So quickly, the awards that we will be having for this year. Wakazi, mute your mic. It's okay. So we have the Uzalendo Integrity Award, and the Uzalendo Integrity Action Award really is recognizing acts of patriotism and courage by ordinary citizens. Previously, one of our awardees in 2019 was the Honorable, rather now he wants to be called Mtumishi Senator Okia Omtata. He's been a previous awardee for this particular category. We also have the Whistleblower Integrity Award. We've talked about whistleblowers all day today, so I don't need to describe who a whistleblower is, but really this is to recognize acts of integrity that expose and demand action in regard to corruption. Then our third category is the Leadership Integrity Award, which is recognizing, those people who have been able to use their positions and espoused the principles of leadership and integrity as articulated by Chapter 6 of the Constitution and the entire constitutional provisions. People who, through their leadership, have been able to inspire actions of integrity, transparency, and accountability. I think one of our previous awardees for last year, Michael Odwor. Michael, are you here? But he's here. He spoke during the open session. So, but he was our previous awardee for recipient for 2023. Then we have the Transparency Integrity Award, which recognizes acts of integrity inspired by TI Kenya's work. So really this is a category that we have put aside for people out there. We work a lot with people with us, your nominees for. Let us ensure that we celebrate and recognize every person who we think has made a very strong contribution to the fight against corruption. More than ever, we need to recognize and encourage these people to push on forward, because the journey is still long and we need more people like them to be able to reach where we want to be in terms, maybe MC can guide us in terms of how we proceed, in terms of unveiling and showing the participants the website so that we can immediately start logging in, interacting with the guidelines, and sending our nominations. Maybe Elizabeth or Titus, one of you can give us the deadline date so that we can be able to know by when we need to be able to give our nominations. But we look forward to hearing more from you with your submissions of your candidates for this award, and even look towards celebrating them come 9th of December later on this year. Thank you.
Thank you so much indeed. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are ready. We want to launch the portal. In fact, you can get straight to your phones right now and begin the nomination process. So we'll have a countdown. So get your phones ready. Get your phones ready. So we'll have the countdown. And I kindly request those who are dressed in red, if you're dressed in red, you have a red color, please come forward. Please come forward. Red here, red as well. Please come forward with your phones. We want to do it practically. The nomination portal is on. Please come, please come. You're dressed in red, red. Please come, please come. We want to, red. Please come, please come, please come. The nomination process is ready. So let's have the portal on the screen. Want to Titus, the deadline is when? The deadline? Okay. All right. So we have reds. With your phones. Do you have the portal? Let's have the portal ready. It's ready? All right, the link. Let's have the link on the screen. So you can go to, and this is for everyone as well. Everyone as well, everyone as well, as the reds lead us through. integrityawards.tikenya.org. That port again, everybody listen. In awards.tikenya.org. integrityawards.tikenya. Remember, is the deadline. We want to highlight it here. Anyone who is set? You've done it? Okay, and anyone who is ready so that we... Kabla tujaketi chini. Haya. Microphone please, microphone. Let's... Sauti yako lazima isikike. Kila mmoja wetu ni ana maana kubwa sana siku ya leo. Asante sana. Na kila wakati. Shukran.
Yes. Sisi hasa katika Mau Mau Governing Council of Kenya ambao ni kama roho na tunatoka kwa roho. Tukisema united we stand. Sasa sisi kwanza tutasema hapa, tutashikana mkono hapa. Tukiwa tumeshikana ndio tukija kwenu nyinyi tutakuwa roho moja.
Wow.
Viva wazalendo.
Viva.
Viva wazalendo.
Viva.
Viva uzalendo. Kata uzalendo. Anzia kutoka, nitaanzia mimi. Bana na ufisadi. Mimi mzalendo.
Mimi mzalendo. Asante, makofi yake tafadhali. And by the way, another quick idea I'm getting here. The whites. You have white, please come. We want to create the Kenyan flag. White, Joe, white, mko wapi? White. In fact, white mweza kuwa pale. Twende round pale. Alafu hapa kuna green yote hapa. Green. Naona. Green, Joe. Green, beautiful green. Njoo ndugu. Njoo. Black pia nayo. Sasa sisi tuwakilisha black. Green, njoni muwe hapa, white mko pale. Tutakuwa ni kama semicircle. Kaka, tutaingia hivyo ndani kidogo. Aya. Greens. Now black. 6, 5. United we stand. Asante sana. Well done. Makofi tafadhali. Asante sana. Well done. The launch of the National Integrity Action Awards 2024. Asante. Vinue mkono pamoja, tumeshikana sana. Kila mtu tushikane mikono. Well done.
From Coast Region, and my commitment is we will be able to mobilize young people, and they're going to attend public participation. And our passion mainly in areas that we work with is issues of reproductive health. And we want to make sure every facility doesn't have stockouts. We want to see facilities that are working, and we are going to mobilize to make sure that accountability is taken.
All right.
Asante, my name is Zakaria Mwangi. I'm an SME. I'm also a leader of the community. From today onward, and even if you are sitting here today, the Bible tells us, don't steal the Lord. That is the 10% of the Lord. If you are not returning the 10% of the Lord, how can you go outside there and tell people, don't do corruption? We start doing this from in our church, now from there, within our community, even also in your house. So we have the good gospel start from where you are, your house. Now from there, from your church. Now from there to the community. If we all do that, I think we will be on the right track. Thank you.
Asante sana. It's the
Good
last
afternoon.
question. Go ahead.
Good afternoon. I think for me, the one take away home issue is we have to ensure that each and every civil servant takes the anti-corruption cause, if it's there, anti-corruption cause, and ensure that they take the whistleblowing cause, that each and every 6 months they are accountable to that. I think that will give them the opportunity to ensure that they take care of these particular issues before they come forth. Thank you so much.
Asante sana. Kumalizia. Hapa chini naona Celine apewe nafasi ya kutumalizia.
Okay, I'm Angeline from Roraka Social Justice as they pass the mic. As an happy taxpayer, my take home is reporting corruption costs a lot, but I'll have to report corruption, because if I don't report, then I'll be the most corrupted person. And to my religious leaders, kindly, I wanted to say this, allow me. To these corrupted people who calls themselves leaders, if they come to your churches kneeling down for prayers, kindly, wawekeleni tu ngoto, because they don't deserve those prayers, please.
Hi, once again. I didn't say my name at first. My name is Gitaranga Esther. And my take home today is that no matter how small you think your voice is, it counts. No matter how much you think your word has no impact, it does. Take up the space, speak it out, and everyone else will join in. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Mama Shamsa from Mombasa. My take away home today is citizen participation in anti-corruption efforts. Everybody from the local level, national level.
We want to discuss or to hear that the NGCDF Act and that money is disbanded. NGCDF. Hakuna mwanabunge anafaa kukuwa na hiyo pesa. That is one. Two. Each and every person atoke hapa aenda asalimie mbunge wake amwambie apitishe the whistleblowers bill. Those are the issues that
Okay.
Kabla amalize, I'm Reverend John Alusiola from the Interreligious Council of Kenya. Now kuhusu religious leaders. I'm from the Pentecostal side. Sisi mnasema ndio tuliweka president pale. Sawa. Kwa hivyo I can say this, take away point on corruption. We have already worked on tools together with the EACC, with IRCK, and we're having books. We were together with the Catholic KCCB at Ekima University. We were talking about breaking the chains of corruption. Wow. It's already on the ground. Number two is that I want to ask those who are here, if you are not a Muslim, let me see those who are Christian. Inua mkono, hata where can see. Now let me tell you that the church is not the building. You are the church. So you need to stand. Psalm 11 verse.
Haezi sikia, obviously they will not be part of the church because they will not be included in the sermons and all that. Also in the government, hata nikianzia tu mtaa kwanza, public participations. First of all, inakuanga kwanza kwa ghorofa kwanza kwetu, mostly inakuanga juu. So you find that persons with disability cannot access the place. So they won't be part of the discussion. So when things are being passed, how watakuja kusikia baadaye public participation ilifanyika, and this is what was discussed, and this is what imepita. So you find that you are not part of the discussion. So for me, my take is, at least let's be inclusive. Kuanzia mtaa, tukue na inclusion. Thank you.
Shukran. Thank you. Makofi yake tafadhali. Nasema asanteni sana kwa kuja. Tumepatana, tumezungumza. Changamoto tumepewa ni kila mmoja wetu tuende kwenye kioo na uangalie wewe jamaa. Mwambie wewe, you need to be good.